Let's get started with our Think Central Lesson 6-9 tutorial. Check it out for homework. So this is a two-part problem, four-part problem actually. So there's letters A, B, C, and D. I'm going to do A and B on the first slide, C and D on the next slide. If an investor buys 150 shares of stock, we did this problem on the last homework, I think, at $14.60 a share, and sold them later for $11.14 a share, calculate the profit or the loss. So the first thing I want you to realize, if he bought it for $14.60 and he sold it for $11.14, he's lost money. So write an equation to find the amount of money he needed to buy the shares. Well, he needs to buy 150 shares at or times $14.60. So which of these equations shows that? Not the division. It's not division, it's multiplication, and it is that one right there. So that's what he bought the shares for. So it's C. What equation can be used to find the amount of money received for selling it? So for selling it, he sold 150 shares at $11.14. So let's find that equation, and it happens to be right there, selling it for that. All right, so that's how much he paid for it here and how much he sold it for here, and he definitely lost money because he sold it for less than what he bought it for. So part C, does this transaction represent a profit or a loss? As explained before, it's a loss because the selling price was less than the purchase price, so it is definitely a loss. And how would we calculate the loss on this? Well, you take the total money he paid for it, which would be here, and then you subtract the total money he sold it for, which would be here. So B would be the proper equation to find out his total loss. You're comparing the cost to the what he sold it for, and so you figure that out, and then your answer here would be here. So do 150 times $14.60 and subtract 150 times $11.14, and we'll look at the Think Central answer on this. So as explained earlier, he's definitely going to make a loss, so you can see right there. This goes over each of the possibilities. It's a lot of numbers, but anyways, let's just skip down to that. Let's skip down to this. So you're seeing their math here. They do shares times cost of purchase minus shares times sales price, and you get a loss of $519. You can go ahead and review this procedure, plug in the numbers that you have on Think Central, and you should get the correct answer. At a school bookstore, Dakota purchased a notebook for $3.25, 6 pencils, 30 cents each, and 2 pens for $15. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a table like I did on the similar problem before. I'm going to say, okay, how many notebooks do I have? 1 notebook, 1 tally mark. How many pencils do I have? 6 pencils, so 6 tally marks. And how many pens? So these are the pens here and 2 of those. So I'm going to look for an equation that shows the total cost. What is the cost? The cost of the pens was blank more than the pencils. So we don't really care about the notebook on this. That's just extra information, so we can disregard that. So what we need to do is we need to calculate the total cost of the pens, 2 at $1.15, and then subtract the total cost of the pencils, 6 at 30 cents. Let's take a look at how to do that. Okay, so the total cost of the pencils, each pencil is 30 cents. They bought 6 pencils, so 6 times 30 would be, it should be $1.80 for that. And if you wanted to draw a model, I'd do a comparison bar. I'd go pens here and pencils here. So you compare that to the cost of the pens, which is 2 times $1.15, which will be $2.30. So you compare those two, subtract them, and you get a total difference of 50 cents. That costs more for the pens than it did for the pencils. All right, this is going to be a difficult problem. We're going to have to make a list. At home last night, Riza spent 25 minutes doing her homework. So I'm going to draw a bar here. I'm going to say 25 minutes. which is, this is 10 minutes, 10 minutes more than Colette. So we know Colette is less. So I'm going to draw a bar here, and I know that Riza did 10 minutes more than Colette. So what is Colette? Colette must be 15. Katerina, so I'm going to add another person, worked twice as long as Colette. So I'm going to take Colette, I'm going to double it. So I know that it's 15 and 15, and that's a total of 30. But 5 fewer minutes than Orvis. So Orvis, Katerina is 5 fewer than Orvis. So if we know that Katerina is 30, Orvis must be 5 more than Katerina. So that's a plus 5. So it's going to be 30 and 5. So it should be 35. How long did Orvis spend doing homework last night? So I've already explained the answer here. If Katerina worked twice as long as Colette, right here, but 5 minutes fewer than Orvis, that means she's less than Orvis by 5, so Orvis should have worked 35 minutes. Let's check out Think Central's explanation. All right, there we go. So we know Riza spent 25 minutes doing homework, 10 minutes less than Colette, so it's 25 minus 10. We did that. Katerina worked twice as long, so it is, choose the expression that represents the time Katerina spent on her homework. So it did twice as long as that, which is 30, which we have. And then Colette worked 5 minutes fewer than Orvis, so you would actually do twice and add 5. And so we got that. I don't like this explanation as much as I do the bar model. It's just important that you make a table or a bar, and you have to say, you have to put the information in the table. So here's the person, and here's the time. So we know that Riza is 25. We know that Katerina is twice as Colette is 10 minutes less. So we know that's 15. Or Riza minus 10. We know that Katerina is twice Colette, so it's 2 times Riza minus 10. And this is complicated, and Orvis is Katerina plus 5. So you can come up with equations to match each person. I personally like to do the model, showing the comparison model, and then just guess and check. You should check your answer to make sure this all makes sense. So when you're done, you can go backwards and see if it makes sense that each of those rules is true. All right, yes, we are all done. That was a short lesson. I only gave you 3 problems, so not a lot of work on that. Make sure you're asking for help and doing your IXL work as we proceed towards mastery. Thanks, guys.